understood that to ensure success in today's society, one should obtain a college education. Although this isn't always the case, high school students are now learning just how important a college degree is. But recent budget cuts to education have led to more impacted schools and far less acceptance. This then pushes students to take drastic measures to set themselves apart from their peers, costing more and more every year.
College cost and the difficulty of acceptance cannot be solely laid on colleges themselves. Budgets in California have sent California's higher education into a downward spiral. State schools and universities will receive 20% less funding this year than they did 2 years ago. And to close this massive budget deficit, California has cut funding to 100 community colleges, 23 CSUs, and 10 universities.
The college's reaction to the lack of funding is boosting fees and tuition, turning away a record number of applicants, eliminating courses, laying off staff members, and expanding class sizes. There are plans to continue to cut funding to schools, which isn't good news for those of us applying to college next year. So not only can campuses not keep up with the regional growth of students, now they can't afford to admit as many students or give students as high of quality education opportunities. CSUs will take more money from student tuition this year than from state finances because colleges are getting less and less money from the state and tuition is supposed to raise by 20% next year.
As the difficulty of getting into college increases, so does the pressure to stand out in the crowd. When choosing from their pool of incoming freshmen, colleges are said to consider GPA, test scores, course selection, extracurriculars, and class rank.
These are the widely accepted criteria of a well-rounded student, but over time, students cannot rely on them alone, and these areas have become increasingly competitive.
GBHS college counselor Mrs. Underwood concurs.
That you're having to raise the bar in all of your areas, whether it's not just your curriculum, but it's your scores.
Colleges ranging from California universities to Ivy League schools have felt the pressure of the increase in applications.
Reputations of well-known schools have improved, making them more desirable and far more selective. The more students that apply, the more get rejected.
Of years, clearly it's the impacted schools and the California schools in particular. I think for students, the competitiveness, the bar has clearly been raised.
For example, in 2010 and 2011, Columbia University had a 33% hike in applications, making their list of hopefuls reach 34,992. Of these high school students, only 6.9% were admitted.
Even though the education level and standards of these applicants have increased along with their numbers, colleges don't have the funds nor the space to increase the amount of freshmen that they enroll.
Of the 27,189 students that applied to Princeton University in 2011, 10,099 had a GPA over 4.0 and 14,042 scored over a 2100 on their SAT. Even though these are remarkable accomplishments for a student, less than 10% of these thousands of graduates will be accepted simply because there is no room for them all.
Prestigious schools such as Ivy League, Stanford, Northwestern, and many others have all had a dramatic decline in acceptance rates this year and for years to come.
However, state universities such as the UCs have also had this problem. The percentage of acceptances into universities such as UC Berkeley and UCLA has lowered up to 5% since 2005. This is outrageous considering the amount of applicants has also increased by several hundred up to thousands. Out of over 48,000 applicants, only 21.6% will get into these schools. Instead of becoming discouraged about these numbers, students aren't taking no for an answer.
This dramatic increase in difficulty of acceptance has also given rise to a huge increase in pressure as well. And with this new pressure, parents and students have begun to look for ways that set them apart. In order to make themselves the best candidates for their dream schools, families have begun to take drastic financial measures in order to make it happen. Although there is no guarantee of acceptance, the paid-for advantages have definitely proven worthy.
As if academics aren't enough, with the high praise of charity involvement, many aspiring applicants must find ways to volunteer, which often costs money. As SAT scores get more and more competitive, so do those taking it. Many will take classes costing thousands of dollars and take the test several times just trying to inch their scores higher and higher. Parents and their kids have been going overboard on getting extra help by hiring college counselors, essay coaches, and scholarship application assistants. In surveys involving the suburban student trying to get into an Ivy League school who is applying to 8 colleges, researchers have found that often families are spending up to $31,811 on the topics listed above. This total includes summer extracurricular activities, including service project and camp at an Ivy League school, a college counselor, SAT books, classes, and reviews, ACT books, classes, and review, AP's test tutors, test prices, sending test scores, an essay coach, and sending applications. This research doesn't include the extra money spent for athletes on trainers, workout facilities, and equipment, or for other fields such as art, which require expensive portfolios.
All these extra measures have proven to help. Studies have shown that in general, every time one takes the SAT, scores increase. Many different SAT classes and programs have also proven very beneficial and have had outstanding and very promising results. College counselors have also had very many success stories.
For example, the Ivy Coach, a college counselor focused on Ivy League schools, has had high success levels. Although they don't take failing students and have requirements for their clients, the Ivy Coach has had 100% of their clients accepted into one of their 3 top choices, and 93% accepted into their top school.
While some are gaining huge advantages from these offered services, others are gaining the exact opposite. Those who can afford these extra boosts often do not have the same opportunities at success.
If one can't apply to 8 colleges because they only have enough money to apply to 4, their chances go down. If they can only take the SAT once because $49 is all they have for it, they don't have the same ability to retake it and do better. Those with low incomes don't have the amount of extracurricular opportunities either. While these services may make the process easier and more achievable for those who can afford them, they also take away many positions of those who weren't fortunate to get the same luxuries. Though, when it comes down to things, universities aren't looking at these circumstances. It is the score and amount of prestige that matters.
In times like these, when top universities seem almost impossible to get into, students and families look to this common saying, desperate times call for desperate measures. And yes, families are starting to take desperate measures.
Large amounts of money are spent on the hopes of college acceptance. Although they help, acceptance is not guaranteed.
We talked to Katrina Ton, a former student from Granite Bay High School who graduated in 2011, about how even though she had a high GPA and high test scores, she didn't get into the schools that she wanted to go to.
I did 7 terms of student government, which is really big for extracurricular activities. I am a math tutor, and I do martial arts outside of school, and I'm a karate instructor.
After applying to several UCs, Katrina only got into UC Riverside.
I really wanted to get into Irvine, but I think that's why I made the decision to stay home.
Good luck getting into college.
And have a nice day.